Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Grizzly Bear Sim's YouTube channel, and welcome back to Fenton Forest Farm. Thank you all for coming back for yet another episode here on this wonderful, wonderful map as I try to get a bucket load here of manure in this BioBelt bucket here. Let me get rid of that map, and we'll try this one more time. No matter how many times you sort of do this and practice it, well, well, maybe that's all that will load into this thing. So we'll just call that good for right now. Hope everyone is having a wonderful, wonderful day. I sure am, and we are just getting some of the manure loaded up here because I'm going to tell you what we're going to be doing with this manure over the coming days and additional weeks and everything, that we're going to be playing this wonderful map. And let me just back away here from here, and we'll just call that good for right now. We're going to do some other things in this video, and by the way, this is episode number 12 Fenton Forest Farm. And let's just shut that noisy thing off, and we'll set that bucket down, and we'll go ahead and go over here and dump this. So basically, let me get rid of these lines because they still show up auto-magically regardless of what you got going on there. But we have collected the manure from all of our manure points. Now, I know I talked about this in an episode not too long ago, but if you're playing Fenton Forest Farm and you're wondering what that manure dump point is, because normally you wouldn't get manure with horses, but Stevie has made that possible. So our horses give us something a little extra other than profit. And we have a few more days, a few more game days that we must keep our horses before we can sell them, but that's going to be a nice chunk of change, I do believe. Now, also over here, and I think this is the first time that I've done this on camera, this is a manure and slurry storage point that we basically can use here on the map. And we're just going to go ahead and dump this here. And we're going to watch our money go up. Now, the money is going up not because we're dumping manure. It's not a sell point. It is a storage point. But we are making some money because Billy Bob is moving more silage up to the animal supplies location because we're selling some more silage to them today. So let's get our time bumped up there. We're going to swap out tractors here in just a moment, just because this tractor is a little bit slow. And we're going to go, and I'm going to show you one thing that we've made an enhancement with on the map. Let's go ahead and put this back away in this other storage shed over here because we're kind of through with it for right now. And if time permits, we are going to be doing a little bit of seeding. We are going to seed our last field, or at least we'll use the remaining portion of our time together once we get done with this other little chore, doing some seeding of some oats. That'll put our last field all set there for oats, and at least for what we're going to be doing in this first round of planting. Now, as I have mentioned before, we do have multiple different crops that we've got planted on this map. We're going to be doing wheat and soybeans, basically double planting those fields, basically planting wheat and canola actually as early crops that we're hoping to be able to harvest in the midsummer, and then still be able to put some beans down and get those harvested before the end of fall. That's how we're playing that anyways. And very much like we did with Midtown USA back in the Farm Sim 17 days. And then we also have sugar beets planted, and we also have, as I said, oats as well. Oats for the horses because they consume a lot of oats. So I've emptied, like I said, I've emptied all the manure. We've got that stored up in our facility there that I just pointed out to you a few moments ago. And let me go ahead and get rid of those lines as well. I hope that they'll give us that key binding so that we can basically get rid of those lines with a button press on one of our controllers versus having to bring that menu up each time, because it is a little annoying that way. But so we're going to haul this water, and I'm going to show you what we have done, an addition that we've made. Now, in the last, I think it was the last episode, it's been several days since I've recorded an episode on Fenton Forest Farm. I have been playing off camera just to kind of move us along, move us down the path and everything. But we were selling some silage. Billy Bob, or Jack, was selling silage and was quite busy with that. And we made quite a bit of money. We made up to about $400 and some odd $1,000 that we had in the bank. And but we bought some things. We've bought some things because, well, there were some new mods that came out on the Giants Mod Hub. You've probably all seen them by now because they've been out probably by the time you watch this episode. They've probably been out a good 3, 4, 5 days maybe. And we are talking about the beehives, and we are talking about the greenhouses. So basically, Giants has finally released their greenhouses for Farm Sim 19, and we've got them here positioned up here on this nice flat pad up here. We'll just climb up this hill here, and we're going to dump some water off for our greenhouses. And we've got, let's see, I forget what we have planted in our greenhouses. I think that might be, I think we're probably going to have to back up a little closer to that, aren't we, Jerry? That is probably one thing that Stevie will fix with his versions of the greenhouses, is that we may not have to back up so close there, but we'll see how much those greenhouses will take in water. Just a couple of thousand liters, it looks like, so not a problem at all. I think we'll have plenty on this load to basically get this done and get these guys all going. Now, our greenhouse operations will be looked after by Billy Bob's sister. Billy Bob's sister is named Matilda, and she's going to basically take care of our greenhouses as well as our bees. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be selling direct to the public, so people will have an opportunity to drive here to this location and buy fresh produce, tomatoes and lettuce, I think it is, direct here, as well as honey from our beehives. And like I said, Billy Bob's sister Matilda is going to be taking care of that for us. And if we want to grow the business, we certainly can. If she feels like she needs to take on some more greenhouses, we've got just a little bit more space to be able to do that here on this pad. But I figured we'd take advantage of this nice flat space just because, well, you might as well, right? And of course, we, Billy Bob, Jack, or myself, will come up here and bring manure and water for Matilda so that she can keep these greenhouses and everything all going, because if the greenhouses aren't, if we don't have manure and water, well, we're not making money. And Matilda does like to have her money. Matilda has a little bit of a jewelry fetish, we do believe. She does like to collect her jewelry. Of course, she tells us that it's basically for investment purposes and everything, but she does like to make a little bit of extra money when she can, and so she wanted to move here, and because she's Billy Bob's sister, obviously she comes highly recommended, or at least as highly recommended as Billy Bob is potentially able to recommend her. And so we'll just fill that one up. Did we miss the spot there? Maybe we did. Let's try this a little bit better. I think we can get in there. There we go. Oh, boy, I tell you, that is awfully tight, those triggers. But there I am. I'm off kilter just a little bit. And I think we have one more greenhouse to water up, and this will get us basically 100% in production of our fruit and veg. And of course, the bees are busy making honey, because obviously it is springtime here on Fenton Forest Farm. I hope everyone is having a wonderful, wonderful day. Again, if I failed to mention this, this is episode number 12 of our adventures here on Fenton Forest Farm. And of course, we are running version 1.3.0, I think. Is that the version number with the patch that came out? I can't remember exactly, but I think it is 1.3.0.1. something or another. And I am so happy. My gosh, I'm so happy because guess what, ladies and gentlemen? You know, I used to spend a whole lot of time fussing and talking about the fact that, well, in order for me to be able to play Farm Sim 19 the way that I enjoyed it with 17, and of course 15 before that, I had to launch ATS or ETS2 so that it would release the tension on my G27 steering wheel. Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Patch 1.3.0 or whatever it's called finally fixed those issues, and I cannot be any more happier for that, because I will tell you that I was really starting to lose my mind on those issues, and well, everything is good to go with the tension. When I fire up the game, it basically releases the tension from the wheel just as it's supposed to, just as it did in Farm Sim 15 and 17, but I never could get it to work correctly in 19. Well, it does that now finally, and like I said before, I could not be happier. Now, if you've noticed, I forgot to take a screenshot, so I will go and stage that screenshot back in just a moment off camera, because I'll want to use probably this tractor and water tanker up there next to the beehives and the greenhouses. So we're going to jump in our Ram because it's, I guess, probably the fastest thing that we have on our farm. And it is noisy, I'm aware of that, but we'll. The funny thing about this Dodge Ram truck is that when you slow down or stop, it's noisy, okay? And then when you speed up, the noise goes down. So interesting. But anyway, we're going to zoom over here to our field and basically spend the rest of the time, which is probably about, I don't know, 15 more minutes or so. We'll spend that time planting oats in the last field that we have. Now, I do believe that we're going to be completely on track to be able to purchase that field that we've been talking about. We'll just bring up this HUD here and bring up the big map, and I'm thinking that's field number 7. I believe it's 400,000 and some change. Well, we're, you know, just 100 and some change away from that, but we're not going to buy it just yet. We will wait just a little bit. We're going to basically discipline ourselves, and we're going to get it when the getting is good, when the timing is right, and I think that the timing will be right before it gets ready to harvest. So hopefully we'll get an opportunity. I hope we will. We'll get an opportunity from that farmer that owns it to essentially be able to fertilize it one more time, and then we will buy it right before it comes ready to harvest. That's the deal that we've made with that gentleman, and I think it's a good deal. So let me get my GPS course set up, because you know it's a little finicky, and I will be right back with you. All right, well, now we are cooking with gas, and you'll also notice in the upper right-hand corner we are using the a new mod that just came out on the Giants Mod Hub not too long ago, and it basically allows you to control the amount of fertilizer that you want to place down in the field. Now we've got it set at the lowest setting, and so we're just going to kind of see how that goes. I am optimistic that that will also work. I believe it will do. I've seen some folks talking about it, but I'm optimistic that that will also work when we go to spread lime, whenever the next time is that we're going to need to spread lime, which will probably be this next rotation after we harvest these crops. We'll probably have to put lime down on at least one field. And so I'm optimistic that that's going to save us a little bit of money, because I do think that maybe out of the box the amount of liquid fertilizer and granular fertilizer, maybe that's not too bad. I think that the yield's been pretty good on that, or at least I haven't had much reason to complain. But certainly the yield on lime is just way high in my opinion. And you know, hopefully that will this will allow us to better control that. You know, I would like to just be able to basically come to a field with a Well, let me back up just a little bit here because I think we missed our GPS mark. There we go. I still think we missed our GPS mark. I know I was raving about the fact that this GPS mod was something that I was used to, but not so sure that it it's just not the same as the old one. And maybe we're on course. I don't know. I don't want to bring up the lines just because the lines kind of take away, but I think we are. I think we're pulling fairly straight there in our big John Deere tractor. But anyway, I'm hopeful that mod will regulate the flow of lime and will make that maybe a little bit better. What say you? So what have been your experiences with the update to FarmSim 19? Has it fixed any problems that you had? Were you like me, and were you having issues with your controllers, and did it fix that? Now I know my good friend Chris, a friend of the channel, a longtime viewer of Grizzly Bear Sims YouTube channel, he was having some weird issues with his Xbox controller and his steering setup and everything. And unfortunately for Chris, the issues did not get addressed, so fingers crossed that Giants will resolve that as well. I'm pretty sure that he did not have the problems in the earlier versions of FarmSim. But I don't fully understand why we have all the problems out of the box with FarmSim 19 that we had. I would have thought that the controller, the way that the controllers are configured and everything with FarmSim 15 and 17, that would have just been baked right into 19 and would have just been, easy peasy lemon squeezy, as they say. But that wasn't the case, and I know that Giants thought that they had fixed some things in the first patch that got released, but that just wasn't the case. And so so here we are, a few months later, and I'm not on my track again, am I? What is going on? Why is this not behaving the way that it's supposed to? Sorry about this, folks. There we go, maybe. We'll drop that down and see if that's working correctly. Looking like we're lined up there. I do like quite a few of the mods that have come out in recent weeks for FarmSim 19, and I've certainly not had any problems. Now, I don't know if the issues that I'm experiencing with GPS are self-inflicted, or if it's something related to the patch. It could possibly be, I suppose. I have updated both the GPS mod, Courseplay, and made sure that all the other things that I could think of and that I rely on are also updated after the patch, if there was updates available for them. And Fenton Forest Farm is performing about as well as it did before. I did delete my shader cache right after updating to 1.3, and then I spent probably about a half hour driving around the map, driving around the fields and everything, and just letting that update the shader cache, just as you should anytime that there is an update. Now, I did see on Stevie's Facebook page that contrary to what we thought would be the case, we thought that Stevie was going to be releasing a update soon after the Giants update came out, and that is not the case now. I believe there's still some bugs that it basically is Giants' responsibility, and so until those are fully addressed, Stevie doesn't see a need to release an update, so he's going to continue to update this wonderful, wonderful map, and he's adding a bunch of different things to his version, and then he's going to package that up at some point in the future. He is saying a couple of months down the road, and he will get that packaged up and get that uploaded. Now, he is also looking at the possibility, if it's feasible, of taking Fenton Forest Farm and creating a 4X map with it. So that is going to be determined if that will work, if he can make that happen, and see what the performance and everything will be for that. That might be rather interesting, especially for multiplayer servers. A 4x of this wonderful map might be quite fun. For us single player users, unless you just want to take on some bigger fields, more fields, or whatever, then obviously you might just stay with the standard version. And that's probably what I will do if I'm still playing this map. I mean, if this is a couple of months down the road before he releases an update to it, it's possible that we will have already moved on to another map, as I've talked about before. Well, we are about 22 or 3 minutes into the video, and I am going to basically start wrapping things up. I've had a rather long week this week. It is Thursday, the 21st of March in the real world, and you guys will be watching this on Monday, the 25th. So March is almost done, and can you believe it? So I do want to just thank everyone for watching my videos. I do appreciate it, and I hope that you are finding the patched version of Farm Sim 19 to be helpful for you. I'm hoping that it's fixed some of the issues that you have been experiencing with Farm Sim 19. I am confident, ladies and gentlemen, I am confident that at some point in the near future, all of these problems will be sorted out with this wonderful, wonderful game that we have come to know and love after many, many iterations of it. And are we lined up? We're not lined up, are we? Well, I guess we are. Yeah, I think we're lined up. No, we're not lined up, are we? It looks like there's going to be a line right down the middle. I'll fix that after the fact because we want to have maximum yield on our. No, actually, we're not even on course. There we go. I may try to update GPS again just to see if there's been another update that's come out for it, because it's behaving completely different from what I had experienced before. It was pretty solid. Once you got your course, your A and B laid down, it would basically, the tractor would essentially lock onto its course fairly easily, fairly quickly. But I think what I will do is, just for grins and giggles, let's bring up our lines again, just so that we can see the color green, because that is what tells us that we're locked into our course. And maybe, just maybe, they can figure out how to maybe give us an icon or put something over here on the HUD. Now I am noticing that the HUDs are a bit I cannot speak tonight. They're a bit messed up, and I wonder if basically the update included some of those numbers that the mod, I forget what the mod is, fruit, I think fruit and veg, or fruit something or another. I'm sorry, I don't have my mod spreadsheet pulled up, so I'm not able to speak intelligently, but I wonder if that mod can now be potentially disabled. And if that's the case, then I'll make sure that I do that before we record another episode. So let's make our turn here. Let's get somewhat lined up, and we're not locked in. We're not locked in. We're still not locked in. There we go. Wonder if it's got something to do with my wheel not being centered. Now I don't want to. Hopefully we haven't fixed one thing and then created a issue for something else. As much as having to launch ATS annoyed me before being able to play the game, I'm wondering if we've not created another problem. But we'll just see. We'll be patient with it and give it an opportunity to maybe have an update or something to the mod, and see if that is potentially the problem, and we'll just go from there. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for watching. I do appreciate it. I'm a bit tired tonight, and I think I'm maybe a little bit flat. I will recharge my batteries before we get ready to record episodes 13 and 14, which I usually record an episode on Saturday morning and another episode on Sunday morning. and I feel a little bit more rested when I'm able to do that. And we will come back together here on Fenton Forest Farm, and I don't know what we'll be doing, probably some fertilization and stuff like that, and just basically getting ready to do our first harvest of the wheat field and also the canola field, and then getting ready to put some soybeans down on those two fields, and then we will pretend like we've moved the bar a little further along as far as the seasons go, and then be able to harvest the rest of our fields as we sort of simulate more like fall conditions. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. I do appreciate it. We're going to try to center our wheel up here and see if that's the issue, and I think it is. I think it is. So maybe I need to adjust my centering on my wheel so that it kind of pops back into center a little bit more swiftly. Maybe is the correct way to say that. Thank you for watching, ladies and gentlemen. I'll see you all down the road. Bye-bye for now.